Hello and welcome back to your mat. This is the next in the series for spring cleaning, and we're going to continue on down the body. So now we're going to work into our quads, the groin area, and the hamstrings, and down into even to the feet. So we'll get started. For today's class, you will need a strap for the very last pose and potentially one of the other poses if you have tight hamstrings. If you don't have a strap, you can do it without, but the strap is a great tool, or a belt or something like a strap is good to have for tight hamstrings. We'll start with a quote by Amit Ray. Yoga means addition of energy, strength, and beauty to the mind, body, and the soul. So we're going to get started in bound angle pose, which is bringing the soles of the feet together. Your knees will be out wide. They may be further up and they may be all the way down. You can have your feet, your legs in more of a diamond shape, so further out in front of you, or they can be closer in. The closer in they are, the lot harder this pose will be. If you find that you're really rounded, you could also grab a blanket or something to put a pillow, something put underneath your seat to help there. So go ahead and sit up tall, and you decide where you want to be here. So feet can be further out or closer in. We're going to work into the groins to begin with. Sit up nice and tall. Inhale. And then exhale, and we're going to fold forward. So you may stay more upright, or you may come deeper in. Find what works for you. You can use your hands in front of you to hold you up here, but you should definitely feel that right along the groin area. This is a nice deep opening and stretching through that area. So again, you may find it better to have your feet further out. So you may have to just play around, see what variation works for you. And it may vary from day to day. That's okay. So we're just going to stay here for a couple of breaths in this pose, releasing into this pose. You can always come further down if that works for you, or stay further up. Never pushing past that edge. You really want to come to your edge and stop there. So this is going to look different for all of us. Some of us are going to be all the way up, and some of us will be all the way down, and that is just where your body is. Be patient and be happy with what you have and where you are. Take another inhale there. And then exhale. Release, come all the way back up. And now we're going to go ahead and stretch one leg forward, and we're going to bend the other one. So I'm going to start with my left leg stretched out, and my right foot is going to come in. So I'm bent here, I'm bent in. So my right knee is out to the side, and I'm facing the left foot. This is where a strap could come in handy if you have really tight hamstrings. So if you have tight hamstrings, what we're going to do is we're going to fold forward. So I'll show you without the strap to begin with. You're going to get up nice and tall here, and then you're going to inhale, and then you're going to exhale, and you're going to fold forward over that left leg with the left foot flexed. You can also take a strap or a belt, loop it around the ball of your foot, and bring yourself in that way. So this is a great little assist. It's a great little tool, and you can really feel that in your hamstrings. At least I can. You may or may not, but probably you will. So this is a great assist too. You can stay more upright, and then you're just pulling yourself along with the strap. So you're pulling your toes a bit towards you, the ball of your foot towards you, and getting that nice stretch in your hamstrings. So if you've got this strap and it seems to be helpful to you, then grab that and use that. Otherwise, you can just fold forward. We're going to try to keep this foot flexed to really floss into, as I like to call it, flossing into the hamstrings and really clearing out maybe some stagnation that may be in there. This is all part of the spring cleaning, the cleaning out, and just releasing what may be stuck in there. And again, as I've said in the other classes, you can do this any time of year. I am calling it a spring cleaning, but I know people who spring clean in the wintertime. So, it just really depends on where you're at. If you're in the northern hemisphere and it's March when you're watching this, then you're coming into spring, and so this would be a perfect time for that. But you may be watching this in the fall, and this would also be a great practice for that time of year. So just breathe here, really noticing that hamstring opening. And then inhale and come all the way back up. And then we're going to go ahead and do the other leg. So go ahead and stretch that right leg out, and then bring that left foot in. So now I've got it almost like a tree pose if I were sitting down. So my left knee is out to the side, my right my left foot is on my right upper thigh here. Sit up nice and tall. Make sure this leg is nice and straight out in front of you. And also you have your foot flex. Now if your hamstrings are really tight, you can always have a bend in that knee when we fold forward. So that's another option. Plus, remember the strap or your belt is your friend here. Inhale, get tall. And then exhale, and I'll show it with the strap this time. Exhale and fold forward with or without the strap. So you can loop that strap onto the ball of your right foot and fold in. I'm actually feeling more of a stretch using the strap here. So I love using the strap, especially for hamstring work or shoulder work. It's a great little tool. And I have a yoga strap, but you could use a simple belt, something that is very much like a yoga strap. It doesn't have to be a yoga strap. But you can always bend that knee if you're really, really tight. And if you're really, really tight, you can also just stay more upright. So you have to just adjust to what your body needs, and maybe even for that day. It's going to change from day to day sometimes. And then another inhale there. Exhale, release the strap if you're using it. And now we're going to come into broken toe pose. If you've done any of my classes before, you know what we're getting ready to go into. We're not going to stay here long, but we do want to work a little bit into the feet. So we're going to come on to broken toe pose. Now, again, if you've done this pose with me before, I will tell you right now, I have a hard time staying in this pose very long. So you can come in and out of this pose as often as you need to. Don't feel like you need to stay. We're going to stay for several breaths. So you're just going to tuck those toes underneath of you and try to get it so that even your pinky toe is curled underneath of you. And then you're just going to sit back on those heels. To make this a little less intense, you can always lean forward. You can have your hands on the ground, or you can even just lean forward some. The more you lean back on those heels, the more intense it is. And I am one of those that I cannot stay in this pose very long without needing to come out a little bit. You could also come up on your knees here with the toes still tucked under. So this one, you're going to feel it, but it's a great one. We use our feet all the time. This is a nice one to stretch all the way, the backs of the feet, even into the toes, or very much into the toes. So breathing here, moving as you need to. A couple more breaths here. I know it's intense. Let's take another breath. Exhale, release forward, come into all fours. You can kind of give those, I'm going to move my prop here. You can tap your toes behind you if you like. Do what you need to do to kind of release that. I know that's an intense pose, but it's great, especially if your feet are crammed into shoes all day, especially tight shoes, high heels, whatever it might be that you might be wearing. It's a great pose. So from here, I'm going to move forward on my mat a bit to give myself some room. I'm here on all fours, tabletop position, nice neutral spine, and just stretch that right leg back. So a little bit like the broken toe pose, we're going to have the toes curled under, and we're going to push back into that right heel. So we're really working into the calf here. Another area that a lot of times we overlook, but the calves can get tight, and that can cause problems in the feet and all the way up into the hips. So anytime you have trouble, let's say you have a lower back issue, it could be related even to your upper back or even your hips. So it can be something up the chain or down the chain that can be causing that. And you can even pump forward and back here if you like. So if you want to move forward and back a bit, you can, or stay static. And then we'll go ahead and switch to the other one. So stretch that left leg back. Your left toes are tucked under, and you're really pushing it back through your heel there. So you really should feel that in your calf, your left calf. Bringing some fresh blood, fresh energy into that region. This is an area that can get stagnant. If your legs are tired, your feet are tired, this can be an area where stagnation occurs, and it can cause that feeling of tiredness. And then go ahead and come back to all fours. And then from here, we're going to come into a low lunge. But in today's version of low lunge, we're not going to sink deep into it. I'm going to start with my right leg forward. So instead of coming forward and really deep here, we're going to be working more with the quads. When we come further in, we're working more with that hip flexor on the opposite leg. But today, going to be more in a 90-90 here, 90 degrees with your front leg and your back leg. And if you tuck the tailbone under slightly, you should really feel that right all along the quads there. You may feel this in slightly different areas. We're all different. But we're going to stay more upright. You can do whatever you want with the arms. We're focusing more on the lower chain. But if you'd like to do some cactus just to add in a little something with it, you can. You can interlace the hands behind you or just keep them on your knee. And if you have really sensitive knees, it's nice to pad that knee up either with your mat by rolling it up or putting a small blanket underneath of your knee. We're really stretching out that quad here. So when you tuck the tailbone under it a bit more, you can really start to feel that there. And then go ahead and release. And then we're going to step the left foot forward and come into that same thing. So again, instead of going deeply into that pose, we're going to back out a bit more. Tuck the tailbone under a bit here. And really see if you can feel it in your quads. My quads are always tight, it seems. So this is a great pose to help work into those. And I can really feel this one just, it looks like I'm doing nothing, but I can really feel into this one. You may or may not have that same sensation depending on your quads. A few breaths here. Any arm variation is fine, or leave the arms out of it. Just depends on what you're looking for today. One more breath. Then I'm going to have you step up to the top of your mat here. Release there. And then we're going to turn to the side of our mat and we're going to step out into a nice wide-legged stance here. So as wide as you like, works for you. And we're going to fold forward. So inhale and then exhale, hinge from your hips and fold forward between the legs. Your hands can come down to either your legs or to the mat. You can have a bend in your knees if you like. And we're just going to release all that down. I can really feel this all the way down the backs of my legs. Notice where you feel it. Let's inhale and get tall for a moment. Coming out of this pose for just a moment. And exhale and fold in again. Inhale and come all the way back up. And then we're going to go into a strengthening pose here. This is going to work the legs a bit. So we're going to come into supported warrior 3 or full warrior 3. You decide what works for you. I'm going to face this way because of the way my mat is. This slightly uneven ground. And we're going to balance on the left leg first. And then you can either have your hands, you can start out with your hands on the ground and then just lift that right leg out behind you. And you can stay here. This is also strengthening to your left leg and your right. So the left leg is mostly straight. You can have a slight bend in the knee. And if you feel like it, if you want to go into a little balancing here, bring the hands off of the ground. They can be behind you or in at your heart level there, at your heart, your chest. Breathe here, balancing if you're balancing. And then exhale, release that right leg down, and we'll come into the other side. So you decide if you want to go supported or you want to go in full warrior 3. Balance on that right leg. Tilt forward, hands to the ground or not. Bring that left leg behind you as if you were pushing your left foot into the wall behind you. I do have a slight knee bend in my right knee. Again, you can always drop the hands down to the mat. If you've got blocks or a table nearby, you could drop your hands to that. Having your hands off of the ground is an added challenge for your balance, but also very strengthening. And release that down. Shake that out, and we're going to come onto our stomach. We're going to do a quick quad stretch. So from here, go ahead And I'm just gonna come up on my forearms here, and I'm gonna reach back with my left hand and grab my left foot and bring that in any amount. So you should also feel that in your quads. Just gonna stay here for a breath or two before we switch to the other side. And release that. And let's go to the other. Right hand back, reach a hold of that right foot, bringing it any amount. So you may be more upright. Your leg may be more upright. See where you're at. You should feel that in your quads. And release that and flip over to onto your back. Grab your strap if you have it or your belt. And we're just gonna finish out with nice little work here for hamstrings. One last one for the hamstrings. I think most people have perpetually tight hamstrings. So you'll appreciate this to finish out. We're on our backs. Start with both knees bent, soles of the feet on the ground. Gonna take the strap and strap it up on that ball of your right foot and stretch that right foot up overhead. If you don't have a strap, you can just reach behind and grab either your calf, your knee, or even your thigh, whatever works for you. The strap is just a really nice tool. Really helps get into those hamstrings. If you'd like, you can stretch out the left leg long on the mat or leave it bent. All depends on your hamstrings and how they're feeling today. Close your eyes here and breathe into that for a moment. And then we're going to release the strap on this side. Drop your foot, and we'll do the other side to finish out. So loop up that left foot around the ball of your foot and bring that in. Go ahead and pull that in as much as you'd like. Again, you can lengthen out the right leg. That's going to make it a little bit more challenging. So if you want to keep it bent for today, go for it. And just release into the mat and breathe here. Keep your shoulders down. Don't let them try to hike up to hold on to the belt or the strap. Pull it in here. Take another breath there. Exhale, release the strap. Go ahead and roll over to one side or the other. Bring yourself up. Thank you for joining me for this lower body spring cleaning, and I'll see you next time.